Developing Your Compassionate Self, Part 1. Sit in an upright but comfortable position. Try to adopt a grounded, confident posture in your chair. Engage in your soothing rhythm breathing and friendly facial expression. Allow your breathing to slow a little and gently rest your attention in the flow of breathing in and breathing out. And just stay with this for a few moments. Now, like an actor getting into a role, you're going to use your imagination to create an outline of what you would like to be like as a deeply compassionate person. So for a moment, think about the qualities you would have if this were the case. If it helps, take a moment to think about someone you know who is very compassionate. What are the qualities that make them a compassionate person? Remember, it doesn't matter whether you feel that you are actually a compassionate person. The most important thing is to imagine that you have the qualities of a deeply compassionate person. You are stepping into this character, this version of you, just as actors do when they take on a role. Let's just spend a few moments imagining these qualities. We are now going to focus on the 3 specific qualities of compassion that we discussed earlier: wisdom, strength, and caring commitment. We will focus on each one of these in turn. The first quality of your compassionate self is wisdom. There are many sources of wisdom. One comes from an understanding that we have tricky brains, which often get caught up in loops or strong emotions and desires that are difficult to manage. We didn't choose to have a mind that works like this. In fact, so much of who we are, our genes, our gender, our ethnicity or culture, we did not choose either, but this has had a significant impact on the person we are today. If we'd been raised by our next-door neighbours, rather than in our house by our caregivers, we'd be a different person today. So your compassionate self has a deep wisdom about the nature of life itself, and knows that so many of our problems are rooted in things that have been beyond our control, that much of what goes on in our minds is not our fault. The wisdom of your compassionate self is also linked to learning how to take responsibility for doing something about your suffering. This involves stepping back from blame, shame, and judgment, and cultivating our minds in a way that might be helpful. Just as the grass, flowers, and shrubs of a garden can grow in all sorts of ways, if we want it to look different, we need to spend time cultivating it. Our compassionate wisdom unfolds to help us learn and develop skills that help us alleviate the distress and difficulties we meet in life. Just spend a few moments focusing on what it would be like to be a wise person. Now bring to mind the quality of strength and authority. This strength emerges from both the wisdom of understanding the reality of distress and suffering in life, but also the commitment to do what we can about this. It involves courage to face difficulties and tolerate the discomfort they bring, as well as our fears about change. Imagine that your compassionate self is strong and has an inner confidence. Feel this connected to your upright body posture, feet grounded on the floor, and breathing rhythm. Consider what tone of voice you would use, how you might stand and walk as a strong, confident person. Spend a short time bringing to mind what it would be like to be a strong, confident, compassionate authority. Finally, let's focus on the quality of commitment. Your compassionate self has a deep, caring commitment. This is partly linked to an appreciation that life can be very hard, and that we may all struggle with many things. So given this, your compassionate self is motivated to be caring and committed to alleviate your own and other people's suffering. It also has a desire to contribute to your own and other people's well-being. It recognises that while many of our struggles are not our fault, we can take responsibility for acting in ways that are helpful and wise. Imagine how you would stand if you had a connection with this. Consider what your facial expression or your voice tone might be like if you were deeply caring and committed to alleviating suffering. Often, people find that practicing this exercise regularly over a number of weeks helps with feeling more connected to the idea of the compassionate self. Try to imagine these qualities: care and commitment, wisdom, strength, coming together into a sense of your compassionate self. Imagine your compassionate self with these qualities. How might you stand? How might you speak? How would you think and feel? How would you try to respond to people as your compassionate self? Focus on the desire to think, behave, and feel compassionately. Don't worry if you don't feel that you have these qualities. Like an actor playing a character, just imagine what it would be like if you did. Now just spend a few more moments allowing yourself to connect to your compassionate self. Take your time on the different qualities. And when you feel ready, just let the image fade and bring your attention and awareness back into the room around you.